And this question is, in a way, very easy, in a way, very difficult. You know what is the main keyword in the question? Some people might say history of humankind, some people would say scientific socialist theory or Marxian socialism. ये सब नहीं है. सबसे important keyword है claims. A student is advised here to keep focus on three key aspects of this answer. The first is the method of Marxism. The second,
in fact, the traditional Marxist thought about the rest of the world, he simply puts it into the category of a changeless society, oriental despotism. But that does not fit the pattern of either Indian or Chinese or Persian society. Hello students, welcome back. Today we have a new episode of Behind the Question, and our question for today comes from the 2023 history optional paper. Question reads, Marxian socialism claims itself to be a scientific socialist theory capable of explaining the history of humankind. Discuss. Right. So with that, I'd like to welcome Nikhil sir.
hello sir.
Hi sir. So sir, please take us behind this question. What is this question all about?
You see, this question is of a discuss type and 20 marker. A 20 marker would require answer of 3 pages.
Yes sir.
So,
4 pages.
3 to 4 pages. 3 pages mostly. And this question is, in a way, very easy, in a way, very difficult. You know what is the main keyword in the question? Some people might say history of humankind, some people would say scientific socialist theory or Marxian socialism. ये सब नहीं है. सबसे important keyword है claims.
Claims. तो वही claim को हमको या validate करना है या dispute
Correct. Correct. दोनों करना है.
दोनों करना है.
We have to discuss what is the claim and to what extent it is
valid.
Or valid. अब when you look at these terms, Marxian socialism, scientific socialist theory, history of humankind, ये तीनों शब्द जो है, the answer can go as long as you want. It is the entire syllabus of Marxist history.
बिल्कुल.
But for the sake of our exam, a student is advised here to keep focus on 3 key aspects of this answer. The first is the method of Marxism. The second is the stages of historical evolution. And third is the future prediction. तो ये 3 चीज लेके चलेंगे तो ये आंसर सही से हो जाएगा.
Tools used by Marx in order to investigate the past, the framework that he has presented for world history, and the predictions that he has made on the basis of the scientific analysis.
Correct.
जो claims उसने किए हैं. So all these we need to keep in mind when addressing this question.
Yes. So this answer will have. So answer will have 3 main parts of the body.
Of the body. Body में 3 main parts.
Yes. और तीनों को हमें assess करना है to what extent they are valid. Let us take them one by one.
All right.
सबसे पहला जो सबसे basic है, simple, the tools or the method of Marxian analysis. And उसके when you say it is a scientific method, it means 2 things as claimed by Marx. पहली बात यह है कि he says that there is something called as historic materialism. The fundamental moving force behind history is the material basis or economic dimension, the factors of production, etc., etc. So historic materialism is one aspect of it being scientific, and the other is Hegelian dialecticism.
Yes.
Or as we can say simply contradiction. एकदम simple भाषा में. And what is the contradiction based on material basis? That is class.
Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. वही वाला.
But in the case of Marx, it becomes class analysis.
Class-based analysis, class-based conflict. The history of the world is a history of class war, class struggle.
A class struggle. So classes cannot be collaborationist, they have to be in conflict. ये presumption है.
हमेशा antithetical रहे.
Yes, correct. So अब इसमें based on these 2 tools, he has developed all the theory. And if you look at this theory very well, on one hand, it is to some extent scientific, no doubt. If you compare Marx with his thinkers who were earlier than him.
यही मैं पूछने वाला था, how important is it over here, given the parameters set by the question, to compare the tools used by Marx with the previous scholars, because Marx is claiming that this is a scientific version of socialism as compared to the previous irrational or unscientific ones.
The word that is used is utopian.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we don't need to develop upon that, but we can mention that in passing in one single line, that compared to earlier utopian thinkers, whose analysis was more based on morality and values, these 2 tools used by Marx are definitely relatively more scientific.
relatively
बस
more.
इतना काफी.
But over here, he also makes an assumption na, that the interests of the two classes are always going to be adversarial.
Yes.
So, is that assumption itself based on scientific observation? क्या हमें यहाँ पर इसके बारे में भी बात करनी जरूरी है?
So we
और-
have to demolish this entire thing. Not, I would not say demolish, but
We need to
qualify
challenge it.
or
हाँ.
challenge it. And there are three interesting thinkers that you can use. And generally anthropology, sociology, political science,
सब में आते हैं.
सब में पढ़ते हैं.
हाँ.
First thing will you go for Weber, then Popper, and then we'll go for
Gramsci.
Gramsci. So if you bring Weber, Weber would say that using the methods of scientific, natural sciences rather, to study society is going to be a limiting factor.
हाँ.
Society is not like
सोसाइटी
a
के लिए हम
physical
कोई
form.
साइंस की तरह लॉज नहीं डेवलप कर सकते which are going to work in all conditions.
Yes.
यूनिवर्सल लॉज नहीं बन सकते.
Correct. Even if we make them, they will be very relative and very limited. So because social phenomenon is always very subjective and it is based on interpretation. So unlike physical setup, to have a controlled analysis and also to predict, it becomes extremely difficult in case of society.
हाँ, when it
That is-
comes to human
Yes.
human players,
Yes,
variables.
that is one thing. Therefore, it is not completely scientific in that way. The second thing is that Marx focuses primarily on economic analysis, which indicates towards some kind of determinism,
Yes.
some kind of oversimplification.
In fact, Marxism is a kind of economic determinism.
Yes. So in that there is hardly any scope for human agency. And what about the serendipity or unforeseen
He does
factor?
not account for that.
They are also not accounted for.
Not only that, why to give so much weightage only to one aspect of the human equation, that is material change or economic changes? Other factors may also play a very important role in triggering and inducing historical change. For example, polity, for
Yes.
example, culture, society, even human emotions.
Even that's why we have neo-Marxist who talk about, like Gramsci has dedicated long research only for this thing, that we have a role of ideology. And then there is third thing, that is Karl Popper. Karl Popper has gone for a very interesting tool whereby he says that what is not falsifiable is not science. So let us not discuss that in detail. It's a very simple thing. But using Weber, using Popper and Gramsci, we can limit the scientificness of Karl Marx theory. So ये
They
पहला
claim
argument,
that it was extremely scientific.
Yes.
We can challenge that.
correct. तो ये पहला part
एक
होगा.
पिलर हमने अटैक कर दिया, उसको वीकन कर दिया.
Correct. अब you come to second pillar that we discussed, that is the universal historical evolution.
जो फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है,
फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है और वो बड़ा सिंपल है, that you start with something called as primitive communism, then you come to something called as a slave based society,
क्लासिकल
slavery.
एज स्लेव बेस्ड सोसाइटी, एंशिएंट पीरियड में,
Then we-
medieval period में
feudalism.
फ्यूडलिज्म, द लॉर्ड एंड सर्फ रिलेशनशिप,
Yes, and then capitalism.
तो इंडस्ट्रियलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड में द कैपिटलिस्ट वर्सेस द वर्कर्स, दीस आर द
So
टू
you have
क्लासेस.
bourgeois and
तो वही जो हमेशा यही
proletariat.
फ्रेमवर्क है that in the different ages after primitive communism, there has been communism, there has been two classes, and the relationship between them has been necessarily adversarial. That is because their interests clash on a basic level, on a foundational level, and the two can never meet. So that is what they have said.
Now this overall understanding may be to some extent valid, primarily for Europe. So मार्क्स के बारे में एक आरोप होता है जो up to some extent is right, that his vision is primarily Eurocentric.
It is Eurocentric. In fact, the traditional Marxist thought about the rest of the world, he simply puts it into the category of a changeless society, Oriental despotism. But that does not fit the pattern of either Indian or Chinese or Persian society.
Take India only, we start from beginning, slave-based, for example. India never had a slave-based economy. Then second stage is feudalism. There is huge debate that
अभी
we
भी
study.
debate चल रहा है, it is heavily disputed कि feudalism था भी या नहीं था.
था नहीं था, अगर था तो किस किस्म का था, with that debate. And then third is this thing of Oriental despotism that is actually roundly rejected by many Marxists themselves.
हाँ, Indian Marxist historians have completely rejected it. In fact, that is their one big gripe with the traditional Marxist theory, that India के बारे में तो आपने इस तरह से analysis किया है नहीं, you simply dismissed it as Oriental despotism, changeless society. Yes,
And you know from where it came, from colonial mentality.
it did. Yes.
So
Even Marx was guilty of the same thing that he was alleging the other scholars for doing. Right.
So ये अपना second pillar हो गया. Now in same series of evolution, we have next two stages. Marx says that there is right now capitalism, which is its own grave digger. It will create huge amount of inequality. Workers will be exploited, cycles of boom and bust, and ultimately it will lead to violent revolution by working class to overthrow the capitalistic people.
ये कुछ जगह पे हुआ भी.
ये कुछ जगह पे हुआ भी, बट इसमें 2-3 दिक्कतें हैं. पहली बात तो ये है कि किस जगह होना एक्सपेक्टेड था और किस जगह हुआ.
He was expecting कि highly industrialized countries of Western Europe वहां पर होगा, but he did not account for the governments of those countries of evolving with the times and trying to reduce the conflict between the different classes. So, for example, England में, for example, the Great Reform Act was one step forward towards the democratization of polity, which gave a greater voice to the working class within government. So that was able to diffuse the tension that existed between the different classes.
And not only a Reform Act which primarily co-opted middle class, even for labor, they were co-opted through creation of empire.
बिल्कुल.
Internal tensions were just outsourced.
आउटसोर्स. वो अपने टेंशंस को उन्होंने इंडिया में
बस.
एक्सपोर्ट कर दिया.
बस तो कैपिटलिज्म जितना अधिक होगा, इंडस्ट्रियल जितना अधिक होगा, उतने इंटेंस एक्सप्लॉयटेशन एक्सपेक्टेड था. देयरफॉर इन इंग्लैंड, इन जर्मनी इट वाज एक्सपेक्टेड क्रांति होगी, बट इट टुक प्लेस वेयर? प्राइमरी इन रशिया एंड चाइना एंड क्यूबा. So
Yes.
these countries are not as industrialized and they don't have enough workers.
So once again, Marx's prediction was proven wrong by the people who first expressed the communist revolution themselves. They brought about the revolution in areas, in regions where Marx was predicting कि यहाँ पे revolution हो ही नहीं सकता है.
Correct. And secondly, very see what happened after revolution.
हाँ, he had predicted कि एक socialist state बनेगा. It is going to redistribute all the resources, creating a classless society, and then the state is also going to wither away.
Yes.
So classless, stateless society is going to emerge. जो जॉन लेनन वाला इमेजिन है कि there is no country, there is no religion, there is no God.
Vagism.
हाँ.
But imagine.
हाँ, imagine.
But it happened exactly opposite.
Yeah.
The states in the country where Kranti has happened actually has become more exploitative, more controlling, super state, more powerful. And a state itself became a class in a way.
People who populate the state, they are the new elites now.
Correct.
So they are the ones who are reinforcing the class conflict within the Marxist, so-called Marxist states.
So वहाँ भी fail हो गया.
वहाँ भी fail.
But पता है एक चीज अच्छी थी. On one thing you can never say कि Marx was completely wrong. The fundamental notion by which he analyzed capitalism. उसकी कुछ दिक्कतें जैसे inequality.
He was able to bring those
some corporates becoming so powerful to control entire globe.
हाँ.
So कुछ चीजें उसकी है.
He was able to make some reliable predictions about those. कि boom and bust cycle आएगा. People are going to lose jobs. There is going to be alienation of labor. People are going to exploit labor. Mega corporations emerge हो जाएंगे. We are going to subvert world governments. तो ये सब तो हो रहा है. This is a pattern which keeps on repeating itself. So
at least as far as the analysis of capitalism is concerned, Marx was to the point philosophically. And it is also, sorry to interrupt sir, and it is partly in response to these weaknesses of capitalism that Marx pointed out that many modern governments have adopted many socialist principles in the way in which they deliver governance these days. The idea of basic minimums, for example, or the idea of social justice is part of the election manifesto of every progressive democratic government these days. That is happening today, long after Marx is gone. Long after Marx is gone. So, although Marx's version of socialism may not have been as scientific as he claimed, but there was some scientific analysis that is valid within it. Very true. That's where we can conclude the answer. तो बिल्कुल यही करना भी चाहिए हम. हाँ कि भाई पूरा बेकार नहीं था, कुछ बहुत अच्छी चीजें भी थी. Introduce सर कैसे करना चाहिए, किस नोट पे करना चाहिए? You can just deconstruct the claim into these three parts. वो deconstruction जो है that itself can become a good introduction. Become the good introduction. That these are the three pillars on the basis of which Marxist theory is based, and now we are going to assess its validity. Then we have three subheadings and continue. Fundamental ideological tools क्या use किए हैं, फ्रेमवर्क क्या क्रिएट किया है हिस्ट्री का और प्रेडिक्शंस क्या किए हैं. Perfect. ये हम इंट्रोडक्शन में डालेंगे एंड देन वी विल डिस्कस ऑल दीस थ्री वन बाय वन. उसके फेवर में आर्गुमेंट्स, उसके अगेंस्ट आर्गुमेंट्स वन बाय वन, एंड देन फाइनली द कंक्लूजन. Right. So with that, we can conclude this session of Behind the Question. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Hope that our students are learning good things, and we'll be back very soon with the next set of questions. Thank you. Thank you.